Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is the last video that I taped last week before I got my denture surgery done. That's why I haven't been on YouTube in a while. I'm healing. So this one is about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Uh, Reunion season 4 reunion part 2 and 3. It started off where it left off on part 1, where Monica and Rachel were arguing about Monica spending more money on her purse than she did on her children. And Monica was telling Rachel, "You don't know what you're talking about. I do spend money on my kids. I can afford I could afford that purse. I could afford to splurge on myself at least one time." And then after that, it went back to Andy asking Monica a question. He said, "Monica, this is a fan question," and the fan said that the relationship between you and your mother is very toxic. Yeah, the relationship with her and her mother was very toxic. And he said, "Have you heard from your father?" She said, I haven't heard from my father since he left us." He said, what about your mother?" He said, "After your mother left you with her friend, what did she do after that?" She said, "My mother went into acting after she left me with her friend. She always wanted to be an actress. She always wanted to be an actress." And, okay, I always wanted to be an actress. I'm just, yeah, an actress. Okay. Oh man, gotta cut that part out. And she said, Lisa said, "Yeah, the way you were acting toward me and some of the other ladies, I said that you're starting acting just like your mama." And Monica said, "Yeah, yeah, bring up my mama when there's nothing else that you could do for it." And then so Whitney said, uh, it seems like Monica, your mom wants to be on the show. She wants to be a part of the show." And Monica said, "Yeah." She said, she said, you had to audition for the show." And then other girls looked funny. She said, "Well, at least I had to audition for the show." She said, "When I auditioned for the show, I thought I did bad. And I went and told my mom, I said, 'Mom, I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get it. I did bad. I did bad.'" And she said, her mom said, "Come on, let's pray. Let's pray." And she said, "Yes." And Monica said her mama prayed that if she didn't get it, she should get it. And then Andy said, "Does your mother always undermine you like that?" And Monica said, "Yes, she does. She does. She's always did me like that ever since I was little." And then after that, Andy asked Whitney. He said, "Whitney, how is your relationship with your mother?" It was glad to see. It was glad to see on the show that she came to your son's birthday party. Whitney said, "Yeah, me and my mother was on good terms when my father wasn't in our life. But it's like. But he said, "Well, what about now?" She said, "I haven't seen my mom since my son's birthday party." He said, "Oh." He said, "Heather, by the way, what's the relationship with your mother?" Heather said, "Andy, I knew my relationship was going to be over with my mother once I left the Mormon church. She did not want me to leave the Mormon church, and she didn't want me to leave the Mormon church, and she was disappointed that I left the Mormon church. So that is why I know the relationship with me and my mother is over with." And then Andy said to Monica, he said, you had an accident, Monica." And Monica said, "Yeah, I had an accident." He said, "What happened?" She said, "Well, I thought it was a rail there and it wasn't, and I fell." And he said, "What did you do after that?" She said, "After I failed, I grabbed my kids and I left." She said, "My mom didn't want to leave the bar mitzvah party that Rachel was giving. Not, I mean, I know it was like an Easter party. It's an Easter party. He said Easter party. My mother didn't want to leave, so he said, "What do you do?" She said, "I called an Uber." He said, "You called the Uber?" She said, "Yeah, I called the Uber." And then Richard said, "That is not how that happened. That's not how it happened." And Monica said, "That is how it happened. That's the way I saw it happen. It happened like the way I said." And Richard said, "No, it didn't happen like that." She said, "Before you left, you told me you was gonna sue me, and you wanted me to pay for damages." And then Annie said, "Did you say that? Did you say that, Monica?" She said, "Well, I had talked to Meredith on the phone, and Meredith told me I could take the house, so I said I was going to sue her for damages and everything else." And then Richard said, "Yeah, but you said you had a little head injury. You wanted me to pay for and stuff." She said, "But the show paid for that, production paid for all of that. So why are you trying to sue me?" And then Monica say, you always talking about I'm trying to sue somebody, Richard. Who is I saw? I haven't sued a whole lot of people. And then Heather chimed in and said, "But you're suing me right now." And then she said, "Well, the only reason why I'm suing you, Heather, because you filed a lawsuit against me first." And then so she said, "That's the only reason why I filed." He said, "Yo, back and forth, back and forth." And then after that, she said, "Shut up, Rachel." And Mary said, "You shut up." And then Andy said, okay, ladies, we finna take a break right now." He said, "Because Mary Crosby is finna come." While they were on break, Mary decided to go and visit Monica in her dressing room. And when she came in, the stylist was doing her hair, and she said, "Oh, Mary." So she came over and gave Mary a hug, and she smiled at Mary, and she said, "Mary, did you see that?" And Mary said, "No, I didn't see that. I wasn't really looking at that." She said, "You see how they did me? See how you treated me?" She said, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Monica. I got your back. I got your back." The next thing you know, the break was over and everybody was coming back from the break. And Andy said, "Here is Mary Crosby." And they had one of the production staff to walk Mary Crosby on stage. And then he said, "Mary, how are you doing? Are you doing all right? You doing good?" Mary said, "I'm doing fine, Andy. I'm doing fine. How about yourself?" And then they said, "We're doing good." He said, "Mary, why do you think that your son is not married?" She said, "Because I haven't seen no paperwork." And Annie said, "Well, maybe they haven't filed the paperwork." She said, "No, so far I haven't seen no paperwork describing them as being married. I still call her my son's girlfriend. I don't call her my wife." He said, "But Mary, when did she move in?" Mary said she moved into my house with my son right before we started production and stuff like that. And then after that, he said, "Mary, you Oh yeah, he said, "Mary, on Watch What Happens Live, you said that I asked you why did you want to come back to the show, and you said that the show needed help." He said, "Do you stand by your word?" She said, "Yeah, the show needed help at the time." And I saw when Monica was looking kind of funny, she was laughing on the side and stuff. And then he said, "Ladies, do you think that Mary was right about the show needed help?" And so Heather chimed in and said, "Well, I had no problem with Mary coming back. I was glad Mary could come back. Mary is good for the show." And then Rachel interjected and said, "Yeah, Mary is good comic relief." And I remember Lisa Barlow saying that on Twitter. And so I guess she decided to pick that up. And she said, "Rachel, who told you to talk? I'm not talking to you. He was talking to me." And then Andy said, "Mary, she can say something about it. She said something nice about you, Mary. Mary, sometimes you be saying stuff that's kind of rude and out of the way." And she said, "Well, Andy, what it is, I'm sorry, Rachel. I thought you were saying something." And then she was saying, and he was saying, "Well, Mary, do you like any other women on the show?" And she said, "Well, I like Mary. Me and Mary's cool." She said, "Well, the only other person I like on the show is Rachel." He said, "Oh, you really do like Rachel?" She said, "Yeah, because Rachel stands up to me. Rachel know how to take my roughness." He said, "Anybody else?" She said, "Well, Monica. Monica is good and she's pretty. I like Monica and stuff." And then they showed a flashback where Mary was telling Monica, "You're a pretty girl, but don't be eating your face off." And Monica kind of laughed off and stuff like that. He said, "Well, Whitney, did you want Mary to come back to the show? How do you feel about Mary coming back to the show?" She said, "Well, I was kind of nervous about Mary coming back on the show because I didn't know how I would react to her and I would feel, because after the last season we had, our relationship was kind of rocky. Mary chimed in and said, "No, Whitney, you were scared of me. You really want me." She, "No, I'm not scared." She, "Yeah, she was scared of me. Every time I said something." And then Andy said, well, Mary, you said something about you came back to the show and you thought some of the women had got some growth or had grown, but they hadn't grown. And then Whitney, you tweeted that how can a woman that always talking about people with growth is going to tweet about growth? She ain't had no growth either. And then so Andy said, "Mary, how did you feel about that?" She said, "Well, I didn't feel no way about it, but I did. I'm gonna stick by what I said. Some of the women on the show didn't show no growth to me and stuff like that." And she said, "But Mary, you called me a racist." "Yeah, I sure did call you a racist." She said, "But," and this is that we did. Andy said, "Mary, why did you call her a racist?" And she said, "I'm not a racist." And she said, "No." And he said, "Do you actually believe that she's a racist?" Mary. Mary said, "No." And he said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "The way she grew up in that Mormon church, the Mormon church is racist, not her and stuff." And then so Lisa Barlow, "Oh, the Mormon church is not like that anymore. It's like they were." And then Heather chimed in, and then Mary said, "Heather, tell Lisa what's going on." She said, "Lisa, Mary is right." She said the Mormon church was rooted in racism and bigotry and also in homophobic stuff. She said, "But it's changed now." And Heather said, "No, it has not changed." She said, "We have to be the one to make the change as far as the Mormon church." But that's not the experience I had with the Mormon church. That's what Lisa was saying. And then so Andy said, "Well, Lisa, some people look at that you're more orthodox than a Mormon." He said, "What do you think of that?" She said, "I'm Mormon, and I'm just because I have a little orthodox ways or have thinking of like that. I'm still a Mormon. I'm from the and so somebody and then Andy said, "Mary, what do you think?" Mary said, "I wish we would just move on from the church, the Mormon church, all the church. I just wish we would move on." And then so Andy said, "Okay." And then Lisa said, "Well, Mary, what do you think about the blog Reality Von Teeth with Monica?" She said, "I don't think nothing about it because I don't know nothing about no social media and I ain't been on no social media." She said, "Well, Mary, she was talking about you and Jan and she said that you was dumb and stuff. And next thing you know, production played the tape. And she said, 'Yeah, that dumb B.' And then Monica chimed in and said, 'Well, I was talking about Jen. I was talking about Jim when I said that.' And she said, 'But you said Mary.' And what you call said, 'What do you think about that, Mary?' Mary said, I didn't been called dumb bees before. I didn't been called worse than dumb bees before. She said, it don't bother me no more because as a black woman, I've been called everything." And I said, "Oh, you right about that, Mary." And then she said, "Well, it wasn't me. It was other people." And Heather, your hairstylist, Tanisha, was also a part of it. She said, "Tanisha showed me she was a part of it. Tanisha didn't talk about us on the show. She tweeted about other stuff. She know." And she said, "Well, she did. She was a part of it too." And they said, "What do you think about all this stuff, Mary, with the Van Teese and the tweet and all that stuff?" She said, "Well, Andy, I think these girls should let Monica have her say. They keep like that." And Andy said, "She will. We ain't got to that yet." And that was the end of reunion part two. Part three was just them going back and forth about it, and Monica and arguing with all the rest of the girls. And then Heather chimed in and said that was a betrayal of the friend group. She joined the friend group just to talk about them or sabotage them. And then Lisa said, "Yeah, you lied and said you had never been in a show, never been in my store, and then you turned around and been in my store and stuff like that. And you had on a hoodie and some glasses." She said, "Just because I had on a hoodie and some glasses," that's what Monica said, "That don't mean I stole your ring or stole nothing from the show." And then Lisa said, "Well, I didn't say that." She said, "But the way you was looking and say you was insinuating stuff, you was thinking I stole your ring, but I didn't steal your ring." And then Annie said, "Did you ever get your ring back, Lisa?" She said, "No, I didn't get that ring back, but it was a cherished. People don't realize it was a cherished it was a cherished heirloom to me, and I really wanted it back. But I went on and bought another ring." He said, "Oh, you went on and bought another ring and stuff like that." And then he said, "Going forward with the show, ladies, do you think y'all will be able to reconcile with Monica or have any kind of relationship with Monica. Heather said, I don't think so. The way she said about me, Lisa said, I don't think I could work with her either, and stuff like that. And then Andy said, Whitney, what about you? She said, well, she did say stuff about me, and he said, well, Monica, the girls wanted you to take accountability, and if you would have took accountability and told them that you were sorry for the Van Teese thing and everything, and she said, well, I'm not sorry because I knew it was gonna come out anyway, but I didn't think it was gonna be like this. And he said, well, this was a time for you to apologize to the girls and apologize to the ladies and stuff like that. And then he said, Mary, what are your plans for the future of Salt Lake City? Do you think you'll be back for next season? She said, well, Andy, I put it like this: if the girls can take, if the girls can take me as I am, the way I am, then I'll be willing to work with them. But if not, I don't know. And then, uh, and then Lisa say, well, I guess Mary, you can come back. You know, we could get along. She said, but like I said earlier, me and the relationship between me and you, Lisa, is already broken. And Mary said, I would love to see, I would love to see, I would love to see Mary back, just like everybody else. And then he said, well, ladies, this is a good reunion. Y'all really did good and stuff. And I'm happy for the reunion. We're looking forward to season 5. That was a good reunion. Like I said, I did too. I did 17 and 18 on the same video and stuff like that. Like I said, hopefully when I do my next videos, I'll be up to date on all the shows. This is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a TI is. I am out.